And we are back. Welcome back to the Nick Hall Comedy Podcast. I'm your host, Nick Hall, joined as always by
Josh Griffey.
If you are listening right now on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, wherever you get your podcast, give us a rating and review. That sure helps us out a lot. And by George, we appreciate it. If you want some sweet Astros gear, as you've seen in the videos recently, or any Kent Murphy gear, just go to CoachKentMurphy.com/shop. And if you want to follow us on social media, anywhere, any one of them, we even have TikTok. We even have Venmo. I don't know if that's social media.
Pornhub coming.
It's all at Coach Kent Murphy. None of that fake shit. I'm tired of these fake motherfuckers stealing our shit.
Yeah, someone on Instagram is like, when are we starting the revolution against the fake Kent Murphys? And I'm like, it's begun.
I'm in.
Let's do it right now.
I'm in.
You guys should be bombing them every day with attacks.
I don't understand that culture. So, like, we put that Rob Manfred video out, or it doesn't matter, any video. But that one kind of popped off a little bit yesterday on all the socials and stuff. And, like, immediately, somebody gets on and they rip off our T-shirt design. That is trademarked through our people that design it.
Yeah.
So you're an idiot, number one. And then the other guy just took the video and re-uploaded it to his page.
Right.
And was like, and I just don't understand that culture of like.
Well, this is the thing, because he did it on Facebook where you can specifically share it from our account so that then you still have the content on your page,
It's
but
just
our
so they
account
can
is
get the
credited.
views on their page because they can't come up with any content of their own.
Yeah.
Besides stealing from other people.
This is the hill
It's just
we die
fucking
on,
annoying.
Right? Like, I'm down for Facebook ruining democracy and governments and elections, but you better goddamn help maintain the integrity of Kent Murphy.
I mean, come on. You fucking little thief. You little pussies.
Yeah.
Come up with your own shit. Leave us alone.
It's gross.
It's not just us. It happens. I see it all the time.
Yeah. Well,
anyway.
They're aggregators, right? Like, their entire website, you see it a lot in sports, too, where all they do is wait for someone to write an article with the take, and then they just reprint the take in their own website.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's a beast you probably can't slay, but it is fucking
Muy
obnoxious.
estúpido. See.
We got a big week, though.
We do.
Big week.
Well, maybe the dumbest thing I've ever seen was everything that the MLB and the Astros did for the last, I don't know, since they reported to camp.
Right. And then we have a huge debate coming, because I told you I want to talk about this airplane video with the guy punching the reclined seat. And I was like, that'll be hard for us to discuss because we're both civilized, mature adults and know that you're allowed to recline. And you are on the other side, so we're going to have a heated debate. Friendship-ruining debate, possibly.
Maybe. Because you're wrong.
You're fucking out of your mind. All right, so let's start with, you want to start with the Astros or the NBA All-Star Game?
We can start with the All-Star Game.
Okay, so this is essentially the All-Star Game this year, right? The big topic was they changed the format, right?
Right.
So the end of the game, right, they play their 3 quarters, and then the end of the game
It's called the Elam ending.
Right, a guy actually from Ball State.
From Ball State,
right?
chirp, chirp.
Ball State, chirp, chirp, baby. So this guy came up with an idea, right? That at the end of the 3rd quarter, it was the difference in the score plus 24 points to honor Kobe. Mm-hmm. And the first one to get to the number wins the game.
Right. The 24 is an arbitrary number. That was to honor Kobe, but it could be any number.
It could be any number.
So if you're...
You could keep that forever.
Right.
Like, people won't be sad if there's a Kobe tribute
whoever's
forever.
winning the game after 3 quarters, you add whatever that arbitrary number that you come up with is to their score. And that's the target score.
Yeah.
The first team to get to that score, doesn't matter how much the other team was behind, wins the game. Takes away all the fouling at the end of the game to, like, slow down.
There were still fouls, but not, we're just going to foul you so that you can't win the game.
Right.
Right? Like,
they were just playing, they were just getting more
aggressive
aggressive on defense, which led to some fouls. But it wasn't that, like, as soon as they touch the ball, I'm fouling you, and then we got to wait 5 minutes for a free throw, and then as soon as you touch the ball again, I'm going to foul you.
Right.
It was just, that was a result of aggressive defense because they didn't want the other team to score.
Right.
It wasn't a ploy to just get them to the line.
Right.
But yeah, it's a brilliant ending.
Yeah, and it was cool because what it did is it put people in the All-Star game who never want to be there. They never want to play. You actually saw them.
Yeah.
They wanted to get it. They got after it, and it made the game actually watchable. My question to you, do you think this could happen in the actual season? Because I heard someone say this should be immediately instituted as the new overtime.
Well, it
like just for overtime, only in the regular season.
Overtime's not a bad idea. It should be the ending of any game, I think.
Yeah.
So that $1 million tournament, I think, is who, but they do it.
Right.
It's that big tournament they do every summer, and that's how they end all of their games throughout that tournament. It's on ESPN, but it's actually pretty good basketball to watch.
Yeah.
And that's a lot of the reason why. I'd love to see him do it because, if you think about one of the best things that hockey did was when they changed to 3-on-3 in overtime.
Yeah.
And that makes the game so much fucking fun in overtime. And you don't have to sit through a 20-minute period. You just get 5 minutes and let them duke it out.
Go get it.
Just the fastest skaters you've got going.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what would happen in the NBA, basically, if you did that with the overtime or the end of the game.
Well, it's the thing I hate in all sports, right, is when a team is up and all of a sudden we're just doing we just have to wait out the clock.
Right.
You see this all the time in sports where, the take always comes in. They had it won, but then they stopped fighting. They played scared. They didn't want to lose.
Pussies.
So imagine if you took that out, right? The NFL, NBA, whatever. It's like, instead of just trying to let the clock win for you, here's the fucking number. Go get it. I think it's so much more compelling.
Yeah.
Here is a fucking target. Go get it.
Yeah, and that's that famous quote. I can't remember who said it, but it was about baseball, and it was like the one of the most beautiful things about baseball is you can't run the clock out. There's no way to, like you said, let the clock win for you. You have to face all of their batters, and if they fucking hit a bunch of home runs, you're fucked.
The pitcher
Whereas
and
in
batter
football, you can
have to choose who
take
wins
some
the
knees,
game.
and you can keep the ball away. In basketball, you can do the fouling and all that.
Not running plays into halftime.
So any way I think you can combat that, I think is a good idea.
Yeah. Well, especially because I don't think it's as big of a problem in the NBA today for me.
Yeah.
But in college hoops is unwatchable.
Oh, I love
with
college.
8 minutes to go.
No way.
But that's what most college games, by the end of the game, you're like, oh my God. It's so slow and so unbearable as it is at times. The end of the game, I'm an IU fan, so we suffer a lot, right? Our team stinks. Archie
my boys whipped your ass the other day.
Yeah. Well, they don't fucking play hard for him.
About that. Yeah.
Here's why Archie should be fired immediately. This is a minor, Indiana Hoosiers digression.
Is it because he's a bad coach?
Well, that's number one, but I'm going to make a more layered argument, right?
Oh, okay.
So we had Bob Knight finally come back, right?
Yeah.
And the Indiana Hoosier fans are like, let choked kids be bygones, right? Let's move on from this and, honor Bob Knight, who looked not good, right?
No,
They were kind of saying it had to happen now or it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
And Archie sent his team, who is the least hard-playing IU team I've ever watched, into the locker room because he's like, I didn't need them to get distracted. We needed to talk strategy. To then come out and get our asses whipped in the game and not win the Bob Knight comes back to IU game. And I was like, the fact that you sit there and
it was
say,
to Purdue, the biggest rival.
We're not even a rival anymore.
Yeah.
They fucking own Assembly Hall. They kick our asses every year. But this is the thing, right? So this is the hallmark of why IU was great. Right? Instead of letting them, this is what you guys should be playing hard for, right? We had standards. We were good. And they just be like, no, it's cool. We're going to go, run right plays for the worst offense you've ever seen. I was like, you should be fired. You don't get it.
We got to go talk about play one, guys.
Right. So Archie's in the locker room. He's like, well, when we're down by 12, let's make sure we start fouling every possession with 2 minutes to go. So the last 2 minutes becomes an unbearable 30 minutes of torture for IU fans.
Yeah, but that's what the NBA does, too, though. It's...
Yeah, but... the NBA now that the three-pointer is so prevalent, I feel like it's not as bad as it used to be because now the precedent is run down, you're in space, and you're jacking up threes, which is kind of its own problem.
Oh, it's a terrible brand of basketball. I hate it.
Just watching people do the fouls and you hear the announcer well, if he gets one and they get a rebound, and they're doing the math, how can they cheat out this win?
Yeah.
Rather than... This team's upset.
Well, yeah, but it's like what
stop.
Belichick did it, and then that I can't remember who did it to them, but they were taking false start penalties on purpose.
Yeah,
because it was a loophole in the rule.
I hate it.
That stopped the clock or something like that, and it's just that's not fun to watch. You know what I mean? That's a stupid way to end a game.
Right, and
I get it though. I would do it too if I were the coach because you're securing a win. It's smart.
But for a fan, right? I don't want to hear the. Oh, look at my coach! What a whip crack smart decision. I don't want you abusing the rules because it's not in the spirit of why these rules exist.
But that's
I want to see the players win. I don't want to see coaches. I don't want to see refs. I want to, and that's why again I love baseball.
Right?
Maybe not as much anymore, Rob. But I love the idea of two men just dude, we got to get it, or women, right? I have a ball. You want to hit that ball. I want to throw it past you. You got to go get it.
Like, my two favorite sports to watch are baseball and hockey, and I guess that's maybe part of the reason why is that thing about baseball. But in hockey, like, at least, so if you're down, a goal or two at the end, there's a way that you can give yourself an advantage, but you have to empty your fucking net to do it.
Yeah.
So you have to leave yourself vulnerable to do it.
Yeah.
And I think that's,
Very exciting,
there's at least a consequence if you're going to take that edge at the end of the game to try to get back in. Well, versus just like, I'm going to take a knee or like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. I want to win the toughest guy sport by kneeling down behind giant men, right? Like, it's just it's not interesting to watch.
And fuck people who had the over on my rushing yards.
Yeah, for sure. Thanks, Vegas. Right? Hey, can you get my brother some more TikTok watches?
Good work, Patrick.
Yeah, right.
My brother. Hey, Jackson.
Hey, my brother's over there doing Renegade again.
Hey, Jackson,
can you cut? Yeah, can you cut to the Renegade while I kneel down some?
Hey, I'm about to win. Go ahead and start that Renegade dance.
Yeah, man. But this was another point that someone brought up that I thought was fascinating. Is they're like, every single one of us that play sports recreationally, right?
Right.
Whether you're playing pickup hoops, backyard football, whatever the fuck. Someone brought this up, and it really dawned on me. They're like, no one ever plays those games with a clock.
No,
you always play, right? If you play basketball,
you play to a score.
Yeah, first to 12, first to 21, whatever.
Yep.
Win by 2. Yep. You got to go fucking get it and win, right? Like when we used to play football as kids, we would just play first to 10.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you got 10 touchdowns, you win the game.
Yeah.
And that's just how people process sports, right? Because when we play, and granted, like we're not playing the same level or whatever, but the concept is the same: is we are a group of guys and we are going to beat you to a task.
Yeah.
I think the clock, it really struck me seeing it in action, right? Because a lot of these leagues don't implement things that let you see like what could be a better but radically different version of the game.
True.
I would love to watch it if they just said, here we go, 1s and 2s in the NBA, first one to 100 gets it.
Right. But
I think that's fascinating.
There's like things you can do. So like the NBA, just for example, but like there's things you can do to the game. Like you could put a 4-point shot in, right?
Yeah.
And that's fun in thought, but it's kind of stupid.
Yeah.
And another end, but like.
Because it'll only be 10 years until people are shooting.
But the point is,
threes.
There's like there's these wild ideas, but there's also, then you have the idea like that All-Star game, and it's like, all that does is just make the game way more competitive.
Yeah.
Until the end. Like, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
That's not some out there bullshit. It's something that's well thought out, and you saw it in action.
Yeah.
In the highest league in the land.
Yeah.
And it was fucking awesome.
And instead
in
of
a game that doesn't fucking matter for shit.
Exactly.
It was riveting. Yep.
Instead of the time management and this and that, it puts you in the we got to get these points. I need my best guys now. And they need to go.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
It just, to me, I watched it and I was like, I just imagined a world. I was like, man, like maybe not the NBA, right? But I was like, college basketball would benefit from this enormously. Right? The biggest problem with college basketball is the shot clock's too long.
Well,
you get all these guys, and I know they can't make their own shots like the NBA, but like I use offenses literally. One guy has the ball at the top of the 3-point line. He dribbles a little bit to the side, and another guy comes and gets it and stands at the top. And I'm like, you're not really like running an offense. If you just said, okay, IU, instead of using 30 seconds of clock, go get fucking buckets.
Right.
I think college basketball, which has become such an inferior product.
I love college basketball.
We like it because we have teams.
I like it
really
way more than the NBA.
But I'm saying the average sports fan would just say that college basketball's garbage compared to the NBA.
I can fix college basketball for you right now.
I'm telling you, if you implemented this, just go get points, that would fix it.
That'd be great.
That would fix it.
All you have to do is make it 4 quarters.
Yeah.
Because the reason why college basketball gets so slow is because you have a 20-minute half.
Yeah.
And after 7 fouls, you're shooting free throws.
Yeah.
So the team gets the 7th foul 6, 7, 8 minutes in, and then for the last 12 minutes, every time somebody's touched, they're going to the free throw line, and it slows down.
It's fucking unbearable.
It's just a stupid system. They're the only basketball league in the world that doesn't have fucking 4 quarters.
Well, also,
even women's basketball, even women's college basketball figured it out, and they went to 4 quarters, and it's a much better game.
Yeah.
It's
like imagine deciding NFL and college football games by extra point.
But like each half, you have 13 minutes of people just shooting free throws. Because of the way the halves are length.
Yes. But this is the other sub point, right? Going to the points, you've got to get points. What you then add to it, right? Take the fucking penalty out. There's no fucking penalties, right?
Right.
If you get hit shooting, you get your shots, right? Same as normal.
Yeah.
Non-shooting fouls, you just get the ball. There's no more, you get a shot because you're dribbling and someone bumps you trying to get aggressive. That's just a ball out. Yeah. You know what I mean? There's no more, well, shot clock. And
but you would have to put something in. That. You'd have to put something in to be like, if you get 2 consecutive fouls, then you get free throws. Because at the end of the game,
you can still have the flagrant.
Well, no, at the end of the game, if you're ahead, you would just keep fouling until the clock ran out.
There's no clock. At the end of the game, there's no clock.
Oh, you're saying with the Elam ending?
Yeah, with the Elam ending.
I thought you were saying just in general,
not
like
with the 4th quarter. With the you've got to get X amount of points.
Okay, I missed that.
There's no. I'm just gonna keep fouling one guy, and then we'll run the clock out, and he'll get 2 free throws instead of 3. No, it's just points.
No, I agree with you on that, and I'll tell you,
taking the penalty out is the most fascinating thing to me. Because the penalty fucking sickens me. Yeah, and it just sickens me in college basketball.
Well, yeah, the 1-on-1's stupid, but I'll tell you something about clocks running out. Our boy Manfred he's putting in the minutes. Let's just say that.
As he said, he spent minutes deciding he was going to ruin baseball.
That clock is ticking on him right now, man.
There's no way.
Okay. So if you've lived under a rock and you missed it. Because I assume if you're listening to this or watching this, by and large, you're probably a baseball fan, or at least
generally aware of sports.
At least in a casual sense.
Right.
Aware of sports. The MLB and the Astros thought it would be a good idea to show up to camp and just start fielding questions about the whole cheating scandal. Yeah. They thought that would be a good idea.
Yeah.
And as common sense would tell you, it was not.
No, the results were bad. Like, the results were televised for all of us to watch. It went not well.
It was wonderful as the fan looking on. Because, we got to see a train wreck in real time, and that's
for
always...
us, guys that create comedy based on
always
sports,
entertaining.
It's really good. Yeah. But, oh my God, where do you even start? Because the Astros were garbage, and Rob Manfred did the actual hold my beer, which you so rarely see.
Yeah.
The whole fucking thing, and this is the crazy part. What I told you that sickened me the most is you saw the Astros and Rob Manfred walk out to these microphones, and you could tell they earnestly believed that it was over. They had done it right.
Yeah.
No big deal. We're going to have a normal baseball season. They honestly fucking did not understand the magnitude of what they have done.
The Astros...
And that made me want to fucking puke.
No, you're right. The Astros, they genuinely had the thought they're going to go, we're sorry. And everybody's going to be like, it's fine. We forgive you. That was their mindset. Right. They're like, we've got this, you guys. And then it didn't. And then that pissed Carlos Correa off.
Yeah.
He got big mad.
Yeah.
Told people to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
Called Cody Bellinger basically a pussy. Oh boy. And then
this is the thing though. To your point, that's not even what they did. They thought they were going to come out and say, guys, we're making a big deal out of this. People don't cheat because it makes them win more. They honestly were doing the routine that it didn't really help us win.
We were doing it for fun.
That's fucking crazy.
Then why are you doing it?
We did it, and we covered it up, and we didn't want people to find out about it.
That was...
But it's not... it didn't help. Guys, that's what Carlos Correa said that was baffling.
Yeah.
Was he said Cody Bellinger needs to... Because Bellinger came out and said... Altuve stole the MVP from Aaron Judge.
He did.
Because he was artificially inflating his numbers.
Correct.
Which is an inarguable fact.
Yeah.
That is a fucking fact.
Yeah.
And Carlos Correa comes out and says, people need to educate themselves about the facts before they run their mouth. We're actually doing a comedy bit on this, so hopefully this joke will land with you guys. But it is insane.
Yeah.
Because he literally just fake newsed it.
Yeah.
Carlos Correa said... Jose Altuve didn't really benefit from knowing which pitch is coming. And he said it with a straight face. He said it. It reminded me, no shit, when I was watching Carlos Correa just hang himself on the altar of facts, right?
He
reminded me of when Rafael Palmeiro testified in front of Congress and was fucking
pointing
the
finger at him. Yeah.
Right as we all were finding out for a fact he cheated.
Yeah, well,
it's fucking insane.
That's a whole different story because there's a lot to that. But that was my second favorite Correa take was that The cheating didn't help us.
Right.
That was my second favorite hot take from Graham. My first favorite hot take was that Fires should be the one apologizing because he didn't try to stop him.
Right.
He's the one that should be apologizing. He didn't try to stop us.
Yeah.
Well, he says that. He was like, he didn't try to stop us from cheating, and then went on to say, but the cheating didn't help us. Like,
right.
It was an exercise.
I mean, it was a
what are you
master
talking
stroke,
about?
right? It would be like watching Van Gogh paint with stupidity. Like, it was masterful.
He was a dude backed in a corner in that interview, and
Yeah.
he was just swinging at anything he
Just
could
going
fucking
for it.
swing at. Yep.
But this is the problem, right? Because what he's saying is Mike Fires didn't stop us from the cheating that we're trying to say isn't cheating and didn't happen when
Right.
we were winning.
Right.
But this is the problem, right? The stupidity of Carlos Correa, and then
Very stupid.
10 times more stupidity from Rob Manfred, who's the leader of the organization.
He's the most hated guy in baseball now. by everybody.
For sure.
And that's not an Astro.
But this
Without
is the
question.
thing that is absolutely stunning. To be that stupid and to field questions and to do that, it lets you know that they never had the thought that people were still going to be mad and want answers. They went in unprepared. It would be the equivalent of, I'm going to jail,
right?
Or I'm standing trial.
Well,
I was arrested, standing over my dead wife's body, holding the knife that was buried into her neck. The cops got me. They got it on film. I turned around and said, "You caught me murdering my wife." And going to jail being like, I don't have to prepare for any of this evidence. It's going to have blown over by now. It's fucking crazy.
They're not going to care.
Yeah.
No, the real,
everyone's got a wife who's a bitch. I'll be fine.
The real culprit here is the PR people. So
we need to Google who that motherfucker is.
And for the beginning, since social media, whatever, since interviews were invented.
Yeah.
There's been a PR guy or lady behind what most people you see on TV say. There's a science to it. There is.
No, there absolutely
these
is.
teams and these players have PR people on their own. Mm-hmm. The teams have a whole PR department.
Right. They have social media teams. They've got everything.
How in the fuck the Astros PR people didn't say, here's what you say when asked. You say fucking nothing.
Yeah.
You say fucking nothing.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? Like, there just had to be day one meeting. Now, the MLB had to comment on it. Like, Rob Manfred has to say something about it because he's the judge and he's the gavel and he's the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But his should have been scripted.
Right.
He should not have been able to go out there and shoot from the hip because, boy, that didn't go well either.
But imagine this, though,
for old Robbie.
This is why you signed the plea agreement, right, to get immunity, is so that whenever anyone asks, you say, we signed a deal.
You have deniability at that point.
Part of the deal is we're not supposed to comment on investigate. Like, that's the whole imagine this. Yeah.
There's no benefit to them opening their mouth.
Casey Anthony, who is the famous, like,
lover.
99.9%
loved her spreading
involved in 99.9% involved in the death of her daughter, right?
Absolutely.
As a parent, this is just a fact, right? If my kid was missing for 30 minutes, 3 hours, I would be trying to figure that out, not going to wet t-shirt contests and Blockbuster, right? Getting tattoos. The fact that she didn't report it
had
for
some good
30
deals that day.
I mean, trust me, no one likes a Blockbuster more than me. I used to actually only go to Big Bear to, like, go in a cabin because they had one of the last remaining Blockbusters. And it was the first thing I did when I got in town. So anyways, I'm with that's the one thing me and Casey agree on, right? So she clearly had some culpability in the death of this daughter, right?
Correct.
They denied, they lied, they made it a mudslinging contest, right? And she got off.
Yeah.
So to call Casey Anthony a bit of a loose cannon doesn't feel like a stretch to me, right?
Sure.
She fucking got away with it and didn't fucking talk about it.
Yeah, she shut the fuck up.
Until she's like, hey, you guys want to see my tits and lips and Hustler soon?
Tits and lips.
You know what I mean? She waited like the mandatory years before she
the statute of limitations had passed.
So you guys are less message disciplined than Casey Anthony.
Yeah.
It's fucking absurd.
I don't know how they thought. And I'm not a fucking PR genius, but, like, even I know there's no fucking gain to go and speak about this if you're if you're an Astros player. There's no gain. Not a single thing you can gain from speaking about it. Whether you apologize or whether you tell people to fuck off.
Yeah.
There's no gain because if you apologize, everybody's going to go, oh, that wasn't sincere. He just looks like more of an asshole. And if you tell people to fuck off, then you just look like an asshole.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, the only outcome, if you speak about it, is that you look like an asshole.
Yeah.
And how a fucking PR person who probably makes a pretty fucking good amount of money to do that job
for the Astros,
couldn't come to that fucking conclusion is baffling to me.
Yeah.
Absolutely
you just say,
baffling.
What happened happened. Yep. We accept our punishment. We're not talking about it anymore.
Right. Hey, that's Astros, I'll do it for $50,000 a year.
You just got it for free on the podcast, right? You're welcome.
Hire me. I got some shirts I want to show you guys.
Yeah, man. No, well, it's every one of us, right? We're not PR geniuses, but we all got busted by our parents or teachers for breaking rules,
well,
right?
Sure.
Right? Like, you were all, like, smoking pot, and someone's like, hey, what are you guys doing over there? Nothing.
Yeah.
Like, you don't run up and be like, yeah, I'm smoking pot, and fuck you about it. You know what? Like, you don't cop to things, right? Stop giving extra. It's like watching a Matlock if it was 4 minutes because the guy just keeps giving Matlock more evidence that he's lying.
Yeah.
Like, just shut the fuck up about it.
The closest I've ever come to, like, ratting. or not ratting, but, like, implementing myself through my words. When I was in, like, 8th grade, me and my buddy got kicked out of class.
Yeah.
Because we had a substitute teacher, and she went out into the hall. And while she was gone, we just had a roast. Me and my buddy were like just throwing out jokes like, Miss Davis is so fat, she's blah, blah, blah. You know, like we're like, ha!
Classic.
And some girl wrote all of it down.
She fucking narked.
And told on us. And so we got sent to the office. So we're sitting down there in the office, and it's like the vice principal. I think it's me and my buddy Toby, and he's like, I heard you guys said some things, and we were both like. No, we didn't. And then he just reaches in his pocket and like flips out the list and starts reading them back. And neither one of us could hold it in. We just start losing it, laughing. And he's like, I knew it. And we're like, no, we just thought they were funny. He's like, these are not funny. We're like, those are pretty funny, man.
Yeah. Agree to disagree on the comedy.
Those are pretty funny.
No, you should have done the Jack Black, right? Like, no, Rebecca who narked on us, she wrote him and she's framing us. I told her not to. And it's like, oh, how'd you know that these jokes were... I mean, I told her it was an electric, right?
No, it was like, it was that thing. It was like,
Jack Black's like, I told her not to. You better not.
It was that conundrum I had in my own head because it was like, I can't take credit for it, but man, those jokes are so good. I want him to know that I wrote them. Like, those are good jokes.
This is how you would have flipped it, right? In 2020, it's be like, I know, I always tell Rebecca she has a gift for writing. Like, she's so good at it.
Don't steal my material, man. No, yeah, but Manfred.
His is a whole other pile of bullshit.
Yeah.
So his press conference was 45 minutes, pre-scheduled with reporters.
Correct.
Right? This wasn't him off. Like, Carlos Correa is a player, and it's a little looser, right? This was a fucking press conference.
And typically, just to preface this, when people go into interviews like that, a pre-scheduled 45-minute interview on primetime TV and all that, almost always they're given a list of questions or potential questions that they're going to be asked. And also, in a situation like that, they can pretty much go in knowing about what kind of questions are going to be asked.
Right.
So they have time to prep for this. Yeah. They have time to plan for it, time to figure out what they're going to say. Go ahead.
But this, okay, so, yeah.
They didn't utilize those minutes, though.
Right. No, Rob Manfred himself should have been aware enough that when people are like, hey, don't you think this is the dumbest thing you've ever done? Like 10 questions in a row, just be like, I can't comment on an ongoing investigation.
Right.
That's it. Like, he can do that
because technically they're still investigating more into this.
Yeah, there are other teams that will also get away with it, further degrading the product of baseball.
You have my word.
Okay, so let's just go through some highlights, right? First off, Rob Manfred, you want to be the PR guy. I'll be your speechwriter, Rob Manfred. I'm a decent writer.
Yeah.
Here's what you don't open with. This decision just took us minutes of work and thinking. It's the wrong word, right? Because I'm assuming he wanted us to take away that he spent a long time. Minutes is one of the smallest denominations of time.
It's the second worst description word that you can use there besides seconds.
Yeah, a couple seconds.
Like, you can go above that and anything else is better. You had two options that were the worst, and he picked one.
Well, this is writing 101. Is if Rob Manfred came out and he says, this took us a fuckload of seconds.
Right.
You jumped the shark. You ruined it, right?
Right.
Like, the fuckload is less important than
that
the
interview,
tiny second.
If you did it an hour, in that interview you say, I don't know, hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
You just say, just make a broad statement. Anyway.
Any adjective, right? Plethora.
Plethora.
Mountain of time. Like anything that sounds big, right?
We deliberated.
A gargantuan amount of time.
For eons.
Yeah, eons, yes. All of that. Light years. Like long, long amounts of time to figure
Light years
this out.
measures distance, though. But Rob's,
That's right.
Rob's stupid, though. He probably would have
caught
said
me
it.
on some sci-fi bullshit, dude. I fucked up. But that's right. So that's what I mean, right? It takes a long, long time.
Right.
So you already set up, and I watched the first, and I just went, oh my God.
Yeah.
Because it was the same thought. I'm like, he's fucking also unprepared. And he came out, and he just doubled down. He's like, so here are the big ones, right? We couldn't actually punish the players. This was a stroke of genius. Because one, they wouldn't have told us the truth. Shocking, Rob, that cheaters were not going to follow the rules.
Do you think if you give them full immunity, they're just going to tell the truth? If you just offer that up before you get anything? No.
Well, I think he's making an enormous assumption, right? Because it's a double-edged sword, right? We can't punish them because then cheaters won't cooperate.
Right.
But if we let them off the hook, cheaters will now comply and tell us the full story.
But first of all, you don't give the whole bunch immunity. Okay, so when they're trying to take down the mob, they don't go, hey, we'll give you guys all immunity.
No.
If you just tell us you did it. You know what I mean? No. They find one guy that looks like he's about to fucking rat, and they go, we'll give you full immunity if you fucking give us everybody.
Yeah, you find the loose cannon, Carlos Correa, and you put the screws to him and say, you can get away from this, but we want
So first of all, that's just stupid fucking way to work it.
You have to get the best players. You have to get those fucking
You have to get some players. You can't get none players.
The guy who stole the MVP and the other guy who was close to being an MVP. You have to nail those two fucking guys to the fucking wall.
Yeah.
Like, I watch Sopranos, right? You don't settle on, the Christophers, right? You fucking put the screws to Christopher to get the Tonys.
Yeah.
That's how it works. That's basic fucking mob attack.
Well, then he said he didn't want to punish the players because they would have just filed grievances.
Oh my fucking God.
And it's like, well, now you have 29 other fucking teams filing grievances because you let them fucking cheat and get away with it. You dipshit.
And not only
you
that,
fucking dummy.
There are actual legal cases now going against Major League Baseball and the Astros for millions of dollars of players whose careers were potentially disrupted because of this. And I don't see how you can make the case that allowing this cheating for so long is not some kind of legal standard for
lawyers are jumping all over this. I've seen
they should be fucking slaughtering these
lawyers saying that they can get compensation for anybody that bought tickets to an Astros game.
Gamblers, we've talked about that. The gambling foot still hasn't dropped all the way.
No, not all the way. But,
that's crazy.
And I don't know, I'm not a lawyer, but it'll be, I don't know if any of this holds water, but it'll be fun to watch it play out. That's for sure.
What do you mean? It's guaranteed they cheated. And it's fixing an event. It's something like that. It's not good.
Right.
Like, you cannot do this and say it's a fair contest.
No, I agree. Yeah.
So
the gambling is the big one for me, but
Then Rob let slip a nugget, right, where essentially he's like, hey, we knew that teams were cheating this way. We let them know, hey, don't do it, but not stern enough to expect them to stop the cheating.
Right.
That's kind of the subtle next step that I don't think people are paying attention to, is that they essentially told teams like, hey, we kind of are getting wind of this, that you guys are cheating. Let's stop. And that was it right before the 2016 or 2017 season.
Yeah.
So they already fucking knew. So now this is a multiple offense.
Yeah.
So that's another layer.
That makes them culpable if they knew.
Yeah, exactly right.
Yeah.
But this is the coup de grace. This is where Rob really needs to absolutely be fired or resign. Mm-hmm. He can make dumb punishments, right? Like, we call that the Roger Goodell model, right? Like, just being really bad at punishments and always defaulting to the most games and teams and corporate money. Fine.
Yep.
His job, and he even said it, I am the guardian of this game, right? The shepherd of this game. I am here to protect the image of baseball.
Sure.
I would argue no one in the history of baseball, the long history of baseball to date, has done more to fucking undermine and destroy the integrity of the game than now Rob Manfred.
Yeah.
It was crazy. I was watching all the sports shows yesterday, and he shouldn't be fired. He shouldn't have to resign.
In the modern era, yeah.
Right, this and that. He specifically called, right? He's like, should we vacate their titles? What's the point? It's a piece of metal.
Right.
He called the commissioner's trophy with his fucking name on it.
A piece of metal.
Yeah, the symbol for why entire sports exist, right, is groups of people followed fanatically by their fans, trying to achieve the pinnacle, right?
Yeah.
The trophy.
Yeah,
the
it's
trophy
the top of the
for
mountain.
Every sport is the only reason why they exist.
Mm-hmm.
And I know we're getting more into participation trophies, and I know it's one of like the smart fan takes to be like, there's only one champion. The rest of us are still equally awesome. No, you're not. You're not the fucking champion.
Yeah.
Right? There's one champion. That's why contests exist, is to win and beat everyone else.
Correct.
He just said that trophy has no fucking value. The hundreds of teams that have won it, right? We disgrace all of you.
A piece of metal.
This trophy has no value.
Yeah.
We're not punishing the cheaters. I am taking no steps to protect the game. So every trophy from here on out has no fucking value anymore.
Yeah.
Rob Manfred, through his own actions and then a slip of the tongue, specifically gave us the prime example of his rule, which is, I have now turned the symbol of our game into a worthless piece of metal.
Correct.
By saying that, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy.
Well, by saying that, it shows how disconnected he is.
Yeah.
From the actual game. Like, I don't think he has even a basic understanding of the game. I really don't. Like, it's baffling that a commissioner of a league could go. Like, do you think Roger Goodell, for as dumb as he is, would go on and call the Super Bowl trophy a piece of metal? Like, no,
just a piece of
not
junk.
a fucking chance.
No,
it's the greatest game in the history of the Super Bowl, and he's going to talk that up.
It's important.
Like it's the most amazing thing that could ever happen because that's his job.
Yeah.
He's got to protect that. You know what I mean?
Goodell always defaults to money and these are domestic violence
all the
issues,
dumb
whatever.
shit that he's done. Like he
never would tarnish
no
the
commissioner of
trophy.
any league. Like they're not going to talk about Lord Stanley's cup as being like a piece. Like that's the most sacred piece of that league. And they promote it like you can't refer to it as that if you're the commissioner. You can't.
No.
Even as a slip, you can't.
It's insane.
Yep.
It would be the equivalent of the Pope coming out and being like, "Oh, those two toothpicks tied together? Fuck the cross. That's not a big deal anymore." Like, you know what I mean? Like,
that old piece of wood.
The Pope's like, guys, we got to start decorating better. I don't love the cross anymore. Let's be real, not a big part of our religion.
That old thing?
Yeah, like there are symbols that need to matter more.
Correct.
Right? And I mean, this is the thing. Like I was telling you, I just sat there in rage. It's so not awesome to be a baseball fan a lot of times, right?
Yeah.
Everyone disrespects the sport. It's boring. Blah, blah, blah. It's just, you want it to be something we all love and there's excitement about it. And watching this, it just ripped my fucking guts out.
Yeah.
You're like, how do I pay money to help support this league?
Yeah.
Why do I watch the games? He just told me it doesn't fucking matter. And we know other teams are going to come down on this. Here's the perfect example of why this is so fucking miserable. One, it just came out yesterday that one of the Astros pitchers was on steroids.
Yeah.
He got 50 games.
Suspended for a whole year.
Right?
I think he got a whole year, didn't he?
Oh, I read 50 games.
Either way, he got suspended.
So
either way.
Yeah. Whatever it is, he got an infinite more punishment than any other Astros player.
Right.
For what I would argue is not as big of an advantage as sign stealing.
Sure.
Right? So it's just fucking and then he came out and had the balls to say, well, I've sent strongly worded messages to the other teams. If you throw at Astros players, the penalties will be severe. And I heard old timers like Kornheiser are like, yeah, you got to take them out. Like, you're gone for the whole year. And I'm like, so that you're
fuck out of here.
Right, because they're like, it's a human life issue. And I was like, I get it. I think throwing at players is bullshit.
I mean, if they're headhunting, that's one thing. But
I really think
just plunking a guy on the ass, I think you should get a trophy for that.
Yeah, no, I'm with that. If you throw at someone's head, I do think you should not be in the game. But that's not necessarily
if you're doing it intentionally. Yeah, that's
if you drill a guy in the back, fuck him.
But
these guys fucking cheated, and MLB said, we're not going to protect any of you.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing.
Someone has to get punished for this.
So we've said it before, but it was like that thing of, with the way the punishments rolled out, financially, seemingly, logistically,
right,
it's worth it to fucking cheat.
It's not even close.
The thing that Rob Manfred did in that interview was he doubled down on that and made it even more appealing to cheat, because if you're one of the teams that didn't, all he did in that interview was say, I don't have your back.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
I protect the cheaters.
I'm protecting the cheaters.
And I'm double protecting the cheaters.
Even if you took the financial gain out of it, and it's still, then you just, like, if you're not cheating, then you don't even have the commissioner's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, he doesn't have your back.
Yeah.
It's just garbage to me.
Right.
Like, it's garbage that he's, like, his only thing he should have said in that interview was, we're disappointed with the way it played out, and we're going to be doing everything that we can going forward to make sure something like this doesn't happen again. Yeah. It's the only thing he needs to say.
Well, how about say...
Only thing he needs to say. He doesn't
Right.
need to be fucking covering for people. No. He doesn't need to be devaluing the artifacts of the game and, like, the trophy. Like, what a fucking moron. Like how fucking stupid can you be?
How can they still keep Pete Rose out? Like, this opens so many questions of just raw stupidity. Here's a question I have, right? So now what the commissioner and the rules he said, right? Like, the dream speech for him is, because he came out and in another interview, a sit-down interview, essentially said there's a chance that they didn't uncover all the wrongdoings of the Astros.
Yeah.
That more evidence could come. The dream interview is, you know what, guys, I hear you. I fucked this up.
Yeah.
And I'm revoking the plea deal. I'm punishing the shit out of the players.
Yeah.
And if the union and their lawyers want to take it up with me, that's the fight we have to have. I hear you loud and clear.
Right.
That would be the message, right? Like, everyone can understand you fucked up.
Yeah.
Correcting that is a big step.
Yeah.
The other version of it that is crazy. So this is what Manfred has set as standard now. How the fuck do the Baltimore Orioles exist and just be complete dog shit?
Yeah.
And not implement this cheating system next year?
You have to.
If it increases you by just one playoff series, that's a lot of fucking money. Right? Yep. Like, what is the point of just existing as the Orioles?
And you're going to be covered for.
Yeah. Like, you think your fans are like, oh, well, at least we're honorable.
Yeah.
There's no honor anymore. Like, this is something that's happening across
There's
the
no
entire
value
world.
in being honorable. There's no value in it.
There's no value
in baseball.
Because you don't get punished for being a piece of shit.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why did the Orioles exist if they don't implement cheating?
Right.
If you're a shitty team, the commissioner just said, cheat your way up and then skate on a punishment.
Yeah.
Like, would the Orioles trade their head coach and their GM to win a World Series?
Yeah.
Yeah. They fucking should.
Yeah.
Like, if this is the rules we're playing by, this is the thing that drives me nuts. Eventually, you have to have a wrath of God line.
Sure.
Right? If you fucking do something in any sports league, the wrath of God falls upon you.
The death penalty comes down. Yep.
The Astros, what they did, at minimum, should have been banned from the postseason play for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
You can play all season. We're not going to eliminate your team and infrastructure and branding. You can't play in the postseason, even if you go undefeated. If you ask me, they should just be banned from the league for 5 years.
Yeah.
Like, you're fucking
look
done.
at Man City. I mean, they're a much more storied franchise in the
much
world
more
of
lucrative sports
in their
league.
Sport than the Astros are. And they cheated a financial system. They didn't even necessarily cheat the game. I mean, they did. I don't know what the ramifications of that are on the game.
Right.
But they cheated a financial aspect of the game. They're banned for 2 years.
Yeah.
They just one of the most storied franchises. Get the fuck
Yankees
out.
of the Premier League.
Not quite the Yankees, but I mean they're.
I mean, I think they're the biggest team in the Premier League.
They're up there.
I mean, granted, I'm not like a soccer expert.
They're up there.
But I know who the fuck they are.
Right.
That says a lot.
But I'll tell you, the only person I know that's dumber than Rob Manfred.
Here we go.
Is the lady on the plane.
You are fucking out of your mind.
Filming herself being a huge cocksuck to the person behind her by reclining.
All right, let's lay the stage first. So there's a viral video this week that has divided human beings in a way that I don't understand. When people hear me say I am for the rise of the AI Skynet to take us out because we can't run our own planet, this is why. I have no faith in humanity anymore.
Here's how I know you're wrong.
Here's the thing. So we're on an airline, right? Some guy is a douche. He shows up late. He gets a bad seat. Big fucking deal. The lady in front of him reclines her chair. Apparently, he asked her, hey, I'm trying to eat this meal. Can you lean forward? She says she did. And then when he was done, she went back to reclining. So he gets mad and decides he's going to punch her seat a bunch of times.
He wasn't,
right?
First of all, he wasn't punching the seat. He was like...
No. He's not
he
like...
was just lightly
He's not
jabbing.
Mike Tysoning her.
Yeah.
But he's punching her seat so that it is rocking her seat, right? She decides to film it.
That's what you get for being a douche.
She asked the stewardess to help, right? Like, can you help solve this? She gives the guy free drinks and does nothing to help it. So this lady is, by the way, going to get a bunch of money from American Airlines.
Doubtful.
First off,
the airlines already came out and sided with the guy.
That lady is going to get fired. Eventually, this will be a problem for her.
Doubtful.
Yeah. I'm telling you. But this is the thing. this guy, this is the first question I would ask, right? If we're talking about right or wrong on this.
Mm-hmm.
If I was sitting in that chair, me,
yeah,
right? 6'1", 270, right? Not necessarily a tough guy, but, just an above average size guy. You think that guy fucking punches my chair? Do you think that guy fucking punches my chair like that?
Maybe.
You're out of your mind. Let's say it's actually a tough guy. My brother, who's like really buff and a good fighter. Let's say my brother's sitting there looking like...
I'm not punching Skylar's chair for anything.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Even if you don't know Skylar, you're like, that looks like, the stunt man Vin Diesel, right? Like the low-rent Van Diesel, right? That's what we call him.
Van Diesel.
If that was my brother in that fucking chair,
yeah,
do you think that fucking piece of shit dares punch her chair or his chair like that?
I don't know.
There's no fucking chance.
Maybe.
Because he knows he's going to eat teeth. That's the first thing that
I don't know. Maybe that guy's a tough guy.
We can argue whatever we want.
The airline already came out and sided with the guy.
But that's fucking... Then why does the airline have the ability to recline your chair?
It's poor etiquette to just recline your chair.
What if you're sleeping?
For the duration of the flight.
I sleep on every flight. That's why I recline my
chair.
So let me
without
say this.
asking,
I'm always reclining.
Without asking the person behind you.
I don't ask.
You should. It's just...
Why?
It's because...
It's my seat.
Because you're coming into their space.
That's the airline's
rude.
design.
Right? It's rude.
Okay, so people who get on airplanes in flip-flops,
Let me
body
ask you this.
odor.
Let me ask you
why
this.
does that not matter?
Let me ask you this.
Sure.
You're driving your car.
Yeah.
Right?
My car that I own specifically.
Right.
Right.
Somebody gets in your back seat.
Why are they in my back seat?
Just say you have a full car.
Okay.
Do you ask them, do you mind if I scoot my chair back a little bit?
In my own car?
Yeah.
No, because I'm driving the vehicle.
Every time I get in an Uber, I ride in the back, and the guy's like, do you need me to scoot my chair up or back?
Okay. Well, this is the classic flaw
because
in your
it's
argument,
just
right?
fucking it's just common courtesy.
I own the fucking car.
Okay.
So it's my rules.
Well, the airlines own the plane, and they said the guy was right.
No, they put recline buttons on the seat.
They shouldn't.
First off,
it's an old design.
This is a straw man argument against. For a long time, we've needed a reckoning with airlines. They keep shrinking the fucking seats and making everything worse and more uncomfortable.
Yeah,
and now we're turning on each other.
Yeah,
because this is what I mean. I'm 270 pounds, right? I do not fit in my airline seat. If I sit on the aisle, the fucking stewardess cart hits me every time.
Yeah.
So like, how do I fix that? I'm encroaching on someone else's area because I'm wider than my seat.
You can just bring your arm in for a second.
I can't. You know what I mean? Like, it's not, and I'm not even that big. Like, we live in America. There are actual huge fat guys.
Oh, I've sat next to
him.
And
I always get stuck next to a huge fat guy in our fucking, this part where it's supposed to be like pull-up muscles. Our fats touch, and we sweat the whole time. I don't get any kind of compensation or ability to fight against the fat encroaching on my seat.
If you're going to recline your seat on the plane, it's common courtesy. It's well known.
This is insane.
To just ask the person behind you, do you mind if I recline?
They didn't pay for my seat, so why am I asking them
shit?
But
what benefit is she... Okay, so if your argument is that it only reclines this much...
It does only recline
then
that
what
much.
benefit is she getting by reclining
It's not like when it's my lazy boy.
She's just doing it to be a dick because she knew that it made him mad.
It makes you more
Because she's like my little fucking brother when we were kids that finds something that he knows annoys me and just does it to be a fucking cock.
No,
that's what she was doing because... And that's why she's filming and trying to get fucking extort money from an airline.
Because he's
because she's a cunt. That's why she is filming it.
She might be.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I mean, but this is what I'm telling you. He's hitting her seat. That is That's the most childish moment in this whole interchange.
You act like a child, you get treated like a child. That's how I take.
No, well, that's what I'd say.
He asked her to move her to not recline her seat.
I've seen pictures. Right. I follow a lot of like World's Strongest Men and shit on Instagram.
Yeah.
Those guys fly coach.
Sure.
You think he does that to them? They're encroaching on everyone's fucking space.
But I bet those guys
when they sweat,
I bet those guys
smell like meat.
Yeah, but I bet those guys aren't assholes on planes that recline their seats.
Are you fucking kidding me? You don't think that guy's getting every inch he can?
Doubt it.
You think you get that big so that some guy behind you can tell you to not recline
But
your
the
seat?
reclining doesn't give you any more space or comfort. All it does is take away space from the person behind you.
This much space.
That's the only thing but it pushes that tray up into your knees.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does. Have you ever flown on a plane?
Yes, people.
Yeah.
Well, you said I need a place to put my iPhone.
It's fucking annoying.
You can still do that.
She's wrong. The airline said she was wrong. The stewardess said she was. The flight attendant.
It's American Airlines, right?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
All right. Well, let's default. If you've ever flown American Airlines, 100% they're wrong. Everything they do is wrong. It's a terrible airline. Terrible airline. But here's the problem, right? So here are things that people do on planes all the time, right? Talking.
Sure.
Like, shut the fuck up. No one wants to hear your life story laughing. People getting overly drunk. People bringing kids on planes.
Yeah.
Now everyone has fake service dogs. I got off a flight once, and this lady had a fucking husky. They was snapping at people as we walked through. It was like growling and shit, right?
It's not really a service dog, yeah.
It's not a service dog, right? You just go to like, it's the same thing
it's
as
an emotional support
the guy
dog,
who
which
gave
is
me
bull.
a weed card in L.A. was not a real doctor.
Well, no.
Right? And so at the end, the stewardess is scooping up this mound of hair that it shed. And I'm like, that's cool. We're all just breathing that.
Yeah.
What if someone's allergic to dogs?
Yeah.
Right? People who are just eating food they brought in from the terminal. So I'm smelling disgusting sandwiches and shit the whole time.
That's
people wearing flip-flops. Everything people do on airplanes is annoying as fucking flip-flops, because everyone who wears those leather flip-flops, your fucking feet stink. The combination of the leather fucking Jesus sandal and the foot is gross. It's fucking gross. So this is my theory on the whole thing. Everything becomes annoying to people when we're bunched in those tiny little torture chambers.
Sure.
His reaction is the fucking problem.
Okay.
When he started punching the seat, that's the fucking problem.
I disagree, because if you're saying that everything that people do on the plane is annoying,
you're telling me
is inherently annoying because
you're any of those other things I
right.
said.
Listen, but hear my point.
Okay.
If you're saying that everything that people do on a plane is inherently annoying, right? Just because you're trapped in this box with strangers, then her going out of her way to do something that's even more annoying,
right,
is fucking. That's her. She's in the wrong. If everything isn't, by your argument, if everything is annoying and you go out of your way to be even more annoying, you're an asshole, and fuck you.
I mean, I'm not saying.
See what I'm saying?
I don't know her as a person, right?
Yeah.
What I'm telling you is
she's wrong.
The airlines give me the recline button.
They also have ashtrays in some of the planes still too, but you can't smoke on them.
Right, because there's no smoking. There's no rule
so
on
let's
an airplane
make a law
that says,
about no reclining.
Sure, if there was a placard that said you can't recline, then she's wrong.
Yeah.
The airplane says you are allowed to recline once you hit a minimum height. So she's not doing anything that is not a part of the deal she makes when she signs the contract.
Except for just being an asshole for the sake of being an asshole.
This is what I mean.
She's
it's
just
different
doing it
than the other
She
stuff.
knew that it was pissing him off. He asked her nicely to not do it, and she still did it anyway, even though she wasn't getting any gain from it. Other than just to piss him off,
I think
so she could try to get a viral video and extort money from an airline.
Also, you're making
she's a fraud and she's a cunt.
You're making an enormous assumption that he was like, "Oh, excuse me,
Facts.
ma'am."
He was.
Please,
it was reported.
It was reported that he was talking like he was Mr. Rogers, and he didn't.
I don't know that.
Hey, move that fucking seat up. You know what I mean? He's childish enough to start punching a lady's seat, and we're just assuming he's this bastion of Downton Abbey grace and genteelness. No fucking way.
Yeah, fuck
I'm
her.
just saying he would never fucking do that if that was a dude in front of him.
I'm team airplane guy.
No. You are everything people do is
Teams,
annoying.
Griffey's
right?
team airplane girl. I'm team airplane guy.
I'm just saying, why do they allow you to recline?
Because
it does benefit you. It does feel more
comfortable. It's just common courtesy to ask the person behind you.
All this shit, right?
Don't bring on
5 fucking carry-ons, right? That don't fit the fucking plane.
I guarantee I guarantee that lady had a bag that didn't fit in the overhead, and she shoved it in anyway.
I'm sure she was also doing horrible stuff.
It.
I think this is what I always say, though. You can tell how close we are to the apocalypse by your experience in an airport. We're on the edge, right? Like that nuclear doomsday clock. Like, airports are the worst places on earth. And everyone's on their worst behavior.
Yeah.
But they allow you to recline. So American Airlines cannot say that she was wrong when they design a seat that lets you recline for your comfort in the chair you fucking bought.
Well, we're going to end that show with you being wrong. Thank you guys for tuning into the Nick
Hall. This is madness, people. This is madness.
Thanks for tuning in to the Nick Hall Comedy Podcast. Make sure you give us a rating and review. Nick Hall, at Coach Kent Murphy. CoachKentMurphy.com/shop. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.